Hey, Shalom. I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. And peace, salutations, and blessings to the elect. I have an article here. It's maryjane.com. And the title of it is Hawaii Police Will Reevaluate Decision to Confiscate Guns from Medical Marijuana Patients. And it says federal law prohibits drug users from purchasing and using firearms, but concrete attempts to restrict cannabis patients' right to bear arms have been easier said than done. And believe it or not, this is prophecy. The elders, they just did a lesson, when it was harping on the woman, but they came out with a term as far as gradualism, and gradualism pretty much is them passing laws, starting at a minute pace, but later on having that elevate, so what they're doing here is a form of gradualism in which in its entirety they want to pretty much establish, gun confiscation, and I believe that's the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. And essentially what these elites are going to do as far as putting the order out is do away with the Constitution. Once martial law is implemented and established on the soils of America, the Constitution is non-existent. However, this is a form of gradualism in which they want to take away the right to bear arms. And however, they're starting off with medical marijuana patients. However, it's not concrete just yet, but alluding to prophecy, this is actually what's going to happen, right? And I'm going to get scriptures on it. However, I want to read this article. It says the Honolulu Police Department sent a series of letters to the island's medical marijuana cardholders demanding the surrender of all registered firearms. The policy has not gone as smoothly as intended and will be reviewed and reevaluated by state police officials, Hawaii News Now reports. And gun confiscation, that's nothing new. When government plans to take over, a country, or a certain part of the world, before they actually take control over that private province or, that country, or state or whatever have you, they 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 use the term gun confiscation, and that's to take away the guns because ultimately they want it to be an easy bout. You know, the government wants to be the only ones possessing guns, firearms, bullets, and things of that nature. Just about, I believe in 2013, you know, I forgot is it the NRA? It was a particular committee that pretty much cornered the market in hollow point bullets. They brought up over $1.2 billion bullets. You know, so pretty much, the average American citizen wouldn't be able to buy those hollow point bullets. It's a thing called cornering the market. And that's a form of gun confiscation, because what good is a gun without any bullets? You know what I'm saying? But reading on, it says the letters have apparently been arriving in the mailboxes of Hawaiian medical marijuana patients all year. Though the initiative was first reported to the public on Russ Belville's Marijuana Agenda podcast earlier this week, since then, the letters have reignited the nationwide debate about the intersection of cannabis and gun ownership, giving medical marijuana patients 30 days to turn in their guns. Pardon me. Salakia. It says, giving medical marijuana patients 30 days to turn in their guns. The letters cite state law reaffirming a federal statute that bars users of any illicit substance, even state-approved cannabis, from owning a firearm. And it's all a matter of control. It's all a matter of control. A lot of the American people, they love to smoke weed. They love to smoke marijuana. So here it is. They may grant you know, medical marijuana across the 50 states, but not telling you that you're not able to own a firearm or have a registered firearm within the household as long as you have, the medical marijuana. Now, say you may apply for the medical marijuana and receive the medical marijuana, they may tell you at a later date that you're not able to have that gun within the household. That's the way this devil works. He don't give you the full spectrum of what you're going to receive as far as taking hold or agreeing to a certain, you know, privilege, if you will. It says on the ATF form necessary to obtain gun ownership, applicants must explicitly confirm that they are not an unlawful user of or addicted to marijuana or any depressant, stimulant, narcotic drug, or any other controlled substance. And a lot of people, what they like to do is lie, just so they can receive a certain benefit. It says, since states like California and Colorado began approving cannabis for medical purposes, the issue has popped up across the country, including a ruling last year by a panel of Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals judges that confirmed the forfeiture of cannabis users' Second Amendment rights. In gun-friendly states like Arkansas, experts have argued that warnings about medical marijuana participation disqualifying gun ownership has significantly hindered the number of people applying for the legal cannabis program. It says, armed with similar federal warnings, Florida legislator Cord Bird has raised similar concerns over the Sunshine State's relatively new medical program, predicting harsh consequences for mixing reefer and rifles. It says, even in the face of federal and local law, though the separation of guns and grass has generally been a bureaucratic safeguard more than enforceable fact. For example, gun buyers must sign a drug-free pledge but are not required to submit a urine or blood sample to see if they're actually telling the truth. So like I said, in actuality, they're going to lie. They want to be able to have their cake and eat it too, so to speak. They want to be able to own a firearm as well as, smoke marijuana, legally. It says, but while a number of reports have claimed that the Honolulu Police Department voluntary surrender requests were the first attempt to actively confiscate guns from legal cannabis users, a similar and ultimately failed letter campaign was sent to at least 4 Illinois medical marijuana users in late 2015, informing the patients that their firearm cards had been immediately revoked due to their medical marijuana licenses. Illinois officials eventually called the letters a mistake and have not made any subsequent attempts to hinder gun ownership for medical marijuana patients. Now let me just prove through scripture how these times are coming upon us, as far as gun confiscation, because you can look in the history during the times of Romania to when they had that genocide. But before that genocide actually came forth, there was gun confiscation. There was gun grabs. The local officials went round about, the area and confiscated the guns that the people owned, and that's coming here to the soils of America. I believe a couple years ago they had the buyback gun, situation going on. But this is prophecy. This is Jeremiah chapter 21. I'm gonna start at verse 4. It says, thus saith the Lord power of Israel, behold, I will turn back the weapons of war that are in your hands, wherewith ye fight against the king of Babylon and against the Chaldeans, which besiege you without the walls, and I will assemble them into the midst of this city. So I'm going to read that again. It says, thus saith the Lord power of Israel, behold, I will turn back the weapons of war that are in your hands. What is the modern day weapon of war that are in the American citizens' hands? Guns, firearms. That's the number one choice weapon for the American citizen, especially those Edomites. Their blessing was the sword, So here it is. This is, what's happening gradually. You're not able to possess a firearm if you consent to the medical marijuana, as the article reads. And it says, and I myself will fight against you with an outstretched hand and with a strong arm, even in anger and in fury and in great wrath. So that proves that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is with the gun confiscation. The Lord is also going to fight. You go no, the Lord is also going to fight against, the 2/3 of you nation of Israel, as well as you other nations, that occupy the soils of America. Because why? The deeds and the works that you do is wicked. More importantly, you're contrary to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You scoff and scorn at his men. So this is the part of the judgment that's going to fall upon you. But going back into the 4th verse, it says, which besiege you without the walls. Because here it is in America, they have no walls to separate, city by city, state by state. However, they're going to cut off, the major highways, and the major turnpikes and parkways, I'm saying, to bring forth that division. That's going to be the siege. However, it's not going to be besieged to where it's going to be blocked, by a wall. They're pretty much going to shut down all major highways. That's how they're going to besiege you within the city, And it says, verse 6, and I will smite the inhabitants of this city, both man and beast, they shall die of a great pestilence. So that's what Yahweh Bashem Yahushai got coming to the soils of America. However, we up the hopeful elect, we could give two shits about a gun. We could give two shits about a sword because we possess something far much greater. And this is Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 18. It says, wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroyeth much good. And what wisdom are you supposed to have that is better than weapons of war? That's better than a gun. That's better than a rocket launcher. That's better than, a missile. The knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. That's what's going to get us through. To prove that, classic scripture. Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. It says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. It doesn't say a 9mm shall be the stability of thy time. It doesn't say a rocket launcher. Salakia. It didn't say a missile is going to be the stability of thy time. It says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord of Yahweh is his treasure. And it's not the wisdom and knowledge of the Quran, the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Book of the Dead, Buddha, Christianity, or whatever the case may be. It's the true knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, the scriptures, the holy scriptures, But jumping back to this article, it says, back in Hawaii, public discussion of the surrender requests have raised new questions about whether all of the state's medical marijuana card holders actively use the plant. The situation has also prompted HPD Chief Susan Ballard, who claims she did not approve the letters despite her signature appearing at the bottom, to rethink the controversial policy. So one thing they like to do is lie. Well, somebody frauded your signature. It says Hawaiian Police Department officials have not made a final decision about taking action in relation to the letters, but have confirmed that medical marijuana card holders will be denied permits for legal gun ownership going forward. And that's what you call gradualism, because it's coming. Gun confiscation is coming. That's how, Romania was able to be conquered. That's how Romania was able to be conquered. But going back into the scripture, it's Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. And I'm going to end it off with this. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And the devil is who? The so-called white man. He frameth mischief by a law. That's how this devil is able to maneuver the way he does in the fashion that he does and feels justified. Because why? He has that piece of paper. He has that piece of paper, and here it is. Law is supposed to be concrete. Law is supposed to stand sure. Law isn't supposed to change. However, what this devil does He created something called, the amendments. You know, so here it is. He's justified pretty much off of, you know, like the Second Amendment, the Third Amendment, the Fourth Amendment. You know, amendments are able to be changed. Amendment means to change. So according to his word choice, he's able to take away the Constitution from you because there are nothing but amendments, which means to change. And that's the slick, sly way of the devil, you know. And gun confiscation is a form of this devil coming upon you with great wrath, because he made it seem as though that's a part of, your American privilege, and you know the you being proud to be an American because you have the right to bear arms. Now, when that right is taken away from you, you're gonna be distraught, and more so is gonna be taken from you in the time that you need it most, during the time of martial law, during the hour of martial law, to protect your family. But what? That's not going to protect you. The wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the Lord is what's going to protect you. Matter of fact, King David also made a statement. I think it's Psalms 44 and 6. He made a statement about the gun, the arrow, if you will. Yeah, there you go. Psalm 44 and 6, it says, "For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. But thou hast saved us from our enemies and hast put them to shame that hated us. And Yahweh Bashem Yahushua we boast all the day long and praise thy name forever." Salah. You know, it says, "But thou hast cast off and put us to shame and goes not forth with our enemies. Thou makest us to turn back from the enemy, and they which hate us spoil for themselves." But focusing on the point, the word says, "For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. But thou hast saved us from our enemies and hast put them to shame that hated us." So that's what's going to happen to these Edomites. You know, this only, you know, this only goes for the elect of the nation of Israel. Because we know, certain brothers may possess firearms. You may be skilled with the firearms. But we know through the Spirit of the Lord that that's not what's going to save us. Guns jam. They're man-made. So therefore, it can, malfunction. But when you got faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, when you got faith in the entity that's causing these situations to happen, guess what? The Lord is going to pull through for you, and the enemy that despises mischief against you, that mischief is going to fall upon their heads, man. But you got to have faith to believe that. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying unto the elect, just to give, brothers warnings, just in case you didn't come across this information just yet, that they're gradually bringing forth the gun confiscation, and, that's prophecy, and that furthermore proves that we almost out this bitch. So I would like to give all praises, glory, and honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well, and peace, salutations, and blessings to the elect. Shalom.